What's good? It's your man Herbert K telling you what it do on this early morning. This is Hurriclops. Superpowers to make your bitch listen. Hit her with the sex ray vision. Optic blast. There's a story of a man that turned a cold bitch into diamonds. Optic blast. Looking at it. What up, though, man? This is your man Hurriclops. That's a horrible name. But it's early. Good morning. Grand Rising. Good morning. Look at the valedictorian. What up, though, man? We're searching for truth early in the morning. All right. Now we're about to go another route. Now I know the last searching for truth was on some supernatural shit. Well, I mean, not on no supernatural shit. It was on some metaphysical, inner shit, shadow work, unlocking yourself, self-godhood, self-goddesshood, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Those were the last searches for truths. Now you probably have some questions that you need answered in the physical realm when it comes to the supernatural. See, I ask these questions all the time because if we live in a simulation, what the fuck is a ghost? What the fuck is a poltergeist? You know what I'm saying? What's up with the satanic panic? You know? And I haven't seen no angels, no demons. I see more alien activity than angels and demon activity. And yes, I have experienced supernatural experiences. I put it on my Searching for Truth, the last one I talked about. I had an apartment fire, and my apartment was the only one that was not touched. That is a supernatural experience that I cannot explain logically. So, my due to my meditation experience and me unlocking myself, I came to the conclusion that I protected my crib with my own power because all I did was do meditation rituals and speak affirmation and have visualization of peace and protection in my home. So I fully believe 100% that me, Hurricane, protected my fucking crib from a fire. Now, explaining the supernatural, some people chuck it up to God or devil. But what if I tell you that it's your government? They have the technology, they have the frequency. See, it's because of this video game that I played called Area 51. And it was on the original Xbox back in the day. Now, you know how you play video games and you have these collectible items that you find throughout the level while you shooting people up. There's a file on the table that you can pick up for your collector shit. Like we go to your stats and be like, all right, there's 8 collectibles on this level that I must collect. So most of the time, people don't pay attention until they want to go back and try to 100% complete the game. But when you finally go back and you, just to say, pick up the file off the table and you actually read it, some of that shit tells the truth about what goes on in real fucking life. Real shit. Truth in plain fucking sight. So there was a file on the game of Area 51. There's a file called the Serial Killer Mythos. I read that file and I learned that the government creates the boogeyman to instill fear in the community or in the country or globally. Shouts out to Nope. What's good? We're about to search for truth. See, people want answers on the supernatural. People want answers on what's really truly going on when it comes to this prison planet or this cursed parasitic prison planet, this simulation, this crazy world. trapped within a world, trapped within a world, and our soul is trapped in a body that's trapped in a world that's trapped in a world. Sorry. Anyway, uh, when I read the serial killer mythos, it talked about them creating Ted Bundy. It talked about them creating John Gacy. Some of these motherfuckers are agents, even Charles Manson. It was unbelievable. And then I read the book by David Icke called The Biggest Secret. And it confirmed Charles Manson being an agent. So I'm like, whoa, this shit gets deeper. Pause. They're controlling people through waves and frequencies, putting voices in people's heads. I'm reading this shit. And then we come to Project Bluebeam with the holograms. They're going to put the hologram of Jesus in the sky or the hologram of an alien in the sky, and they're going to beam voices in your head like you hearing the voice of God. Then you find out they have the voice of God weapon. The shit gets deeper. Pause. No diddy. Shout out. Deus Ex has a lot of truth drops. Hell yeah. I got a Deus Ex on my motherfucking Matrix versus reality. I forgot which number. I got like, I think I'm at 30 Matrix versus realities now. But yes, I talked about Deus Ex. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna we should, you know what? We should play a clip of that. Shouts out to Bronze Flat Power. You know what? We're gonna play a clip of that, then we're gonna come back to the motherfucking shit. You know, we're gonna do this for no real quick. We're gonna do this for no real quick. Deus Ex has a lot of truth drops. You damn right it do. We about to go to my playlist real quick and go to Matrix versus Reality, and then we're going to go to my video that I'm about to do. I don't really got that much time, so we're gonna have to work this shit out. Maybe we can work it out, work it out, work it out, work it out, work it out. Shouts out to the beautiful women that's exercising this morning, going for a nice run and doing their squat thrusts and shit. Getting ready to call me over in the evening so I could give them an old fashioned. Never mind. Where the hell is it? I know I got it. Matrix versus Reality. What the hell? I must have passed it. There it go, right here.
Welcome home, Mr. Jensen. You have new messages.
Apparently that's not all I have. Make yourself at home, boss.
It's a fucking mess out there, Adam. Seen the news? Picus is telling everyone we're breeding super soldiers. Taggart's at the convention center right now, urging the UN to investigate.
Is it true?
Of course not.
Except for the Typhoon, right? And a few of those defense contracts.
What?
Oh, and let's not forget the fact that Megan's team was kidnapped right before her research went public. How do you explain that one, boss?
I wanted people to see that research. Megan was on the brink of something historic. Something that would have catapulted this company to the top of the Fortune 500. Her kidnappers knew it. They knew exactly where her research would take us. And they refused to let anyone else have that much power.
Anyone else? Eliza was right. You do know more than you've told me.
I suspected. But these people, they're like ghosts. Always in the shadows, always hiding behind lies and proxies.
Who are they?
A name won't mean much. They'll use whatever one suits their interests. Sometimes it's the Masons. Sometimes the Bilderberg Group. They've had a finger in every corporation, organization, or government initiative that's defined modern society.
You're talking about the Illuminati?
It's no joke. They're organized and they operate over and above society.
You're serious? So why would the Illuminati kidnap Megan's team?
I already told you. Megan found a way to make augmentation safer for all of us, so we can all become like you.
Like me?
Like, you are. More than human.
More than human. Transhumanism.
We've got to get him back, Adam.
You said Taggart is speaking at the convention center right now?
Bitch even sent me an invite.
His aide, Sandoval, is neck deep in this.
I don't know where Sandoval is, but Taggart will. Adam, we've got to handle this delicately. We don't know Taggart is involved, and we can't afford another punch in the face. I'm trusting you with this one.
Mr. Jensen, how ironic that you should be the one to save us from the monsters out there.
Monsters, Taggart? You mean people? Augmented people who've lost all control, lost their reason.
Isn't that supposed to be my line? Fortunately, it seems your esteemed Mr. Darrow decided to appropriate my point and turn it back on me. In madness and in blood. He has betrayed us all.
So you finally admit it. You are part of this after all. You have been all along.
It would be pointless to deny anything now, but despite what you think of us, we never wanted augmentations outlawed. All we've ever sought is regulation, rules governing how the technology is developed, and laws that ensure its use for the good of society.
You've raised society above humanity. So who gets to make those rules?
Men with wisdom, strength, and tenacity to know what's right. Proven leaders who distinguish themselves, like you, Mr. Jensen. You've certainly earned the right to be one of us. All you have to do is take it.
I'm not looking for glory, Taggart.
Just remember that without control, there's no room for freedom, only anarchy. You were a policeman once. You know the importance of order.
I know there's a difference between order and slavery.
The biochip wasn't supposed to force people to do anything. It merely limited powers so that people
Biochip. Elon Musk.
couldn't go on killing sprees like the ones taking place right now.
Amazing how well that worked out.
Say what you will, but I know that some part of you agrees with me. Absolute freedom is no different than absolute chaos. Society needs boundaries if it has any hope of surviving, and you, Mr. Jensen, can be the one to give us that hope. Shut down Darrow's signal, then help me get a message out saying that an accident at VersaLife contaminated the world's neuropozyne supply.
VersaLife? And what if I decided to blame the Illuminati?
The Illuminati is just a name to get rich financiers to invest more money. Besides, do you really think the world will believe in some 18th century conspiracy theory? Do this for us, and you'll ensure a future for mankind, all of mankind, augmented or otherwise. The future Hugh Darrow offers doesn't allow for both.
Let me think about it. All of this is as much your fault as it is Darrow's. You and your cabal.
Perhaps. But all we sought was a safety valve, Mr. Jensen, a means of making sure the world would never spin out of control. The potential of this technology is great, but as we've seen, its potential for destruction is even greater.
Your doomsday scenario doesn't impress me. You'd say anything to stay in power.
Do you think humanity will simply police itself? We do not live in some Eden, Mr. Jensen. Or are you that much like your boss, David Seraph, who envisions a world where everyone is enhanced and suddenly they all love each other? There will always be a need for methods of control.
And conveniently, in your future, the Illuminati will hold the reins.
Not directly. There are organizations already in place that are better equipped to handle certain things, the UN, for instance.
Reimagined, no doubt.
The UN. United Nations, they already said they declare war on us. The fucking conspiracy theories, if you look on the news, they keep on talking about rhetoric and taking away our freedom of speech every day. They don't want us calling them out.
At least somewhat. And this technology will be a great part of it. Imagine, Mr. Jensen, a world governed by common principles, the end to international power struggles, to terrorism. These things can be accomplished if you join us.
The answer is no. Choke his bitch ass. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Okay, now after you got done choking out that one, okay, I dropped my goddamn phone trying to grab this phone. That's right. Fuck the UN. All right. Now let's go back to the video.
The supernatural is a government psyop, the big bamboozle, whether that be hauntings, the supernatural is a government psyop, the big bamboozle, whether that be hauntings, possessions, ghosts, cults, saint.
Now this channel is called Look Out for Charlie. If y'all want to find out this channel is called Look Out for Charlie. Now this man does audio forensics. Audio forensics. Yep. Look out for Charlie. That man is the truth. It's like finding another Truth Virus type of channel. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all subscribe to Truth Virus, but definitely subscribe to Look Out for Charlie because audio forensics is very important. We may think that our house is haunted, but no, if we got a shitload of electronics in our house that's on that smart level technology or Alexa, man, they could fuck with your technology and make some shit come through your crib. You know what I'm saying? Now his channel covers audio forensics. I said it again. You're gonna hear a lot of audio shit. So look out for Charlie.
All of it. It's all created. And I've told you since the beginning of this channel, since the inception of this channel, that military intelligence and psychological operations departments, in cooperation with Hollywood, which is an arm of these psychological operations departments, have been promoting the paranormal and the supernatural intentionally to cover up events that are happening, to cover up shenanigans that are happening. I want to get into that. I'm going to prove it to you. But before that, we need to understand a couple events that started back in the late 60s, early 70s, and are going on today. One thing that you need to understand is the Phoenix program. This started back in the late 1960s. And what it was basically was shock and awe. They were training soldiers who were clearly chosen because they were psychotic to go into Vietnamese territory, hunt down these enemies, and shock and awe by raping, pillaging, setting up bodies in ritualistic ways, exactly like serial killers.
Yep. Yep. And these cops have secret meetings with these secret cops that be on that psychotic mind frame. I did a live talking about it. I think it was a Fuck the Government podcast, or maybe it was probably a Fuck the Government podcast. I'm not sure. I don't know which one, but it was exposing the secret meetings that cops have with these psychotic evil motherfuckers that go out terrorizing people in your community.
Let me play you a clip from an interview with Dave McGowan from a while back.
Classic example of the latter would be a guy like Arthur Shawcross, who was a Phoenix program assassin in Vietnam. Like 43 kills, which were, just these barbaric crimes that he committed that involved, rape and mutilation and leaving bodies on display and all the stuff that serial killers traditionally do. And that's very typical of the Phoenix program, the serial killer phenomenon, which really bubbled to the surface in the latter years of the Vietnam War.
Salute. What up, though? Water Style? Now, I bet you're wondering what, hell yeah, stormtroopers. Yeah, but stormtroopers be missing, though. Those niggas got no aim. But now, what I forgot to say was not only the serial killer mythos program or the Phoenix program or whatever program they're about to say next, it wasn't only just to instill fear in the world or in the society, but it was also to create copycats. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, this person did that. Maybe I can do it better, type of shit. And since motherfuckers wasn't really doing it, this is why we see staged events like the Columbine shit. You know, it's like, damn, these people ain't doing this. So fuck it. We'll instill fear ourselves. And by them instilling fear themselves, we see the pattern that they do every fucking year or every 3 months or every 6 months. You know, but there are some people out there that is still afraid though. You know, exactly. Yahtzee. What the? It's in my mind, but Sturmlerblätter. Tell somebody get some period. I'm about to hit the motherfuckers with. Tell somebody get some period. Hadouken! Spinning bird. Tiger D.
Vietnam War was kind of a case of the Phoenix program coming home. Because the Phoenix program was a torture, terror, and assassination in Vietnam that was specifically designed to strike fear into us and demoralize the Vietnamese people.
Yeah, you see? To strike fear and demoralize. We're going through that on a high level in this country right now. Destabilization, demoralization. Damn, we need some extermination, maximum extermination, exterminate. We need to dialect, beam these evil motherfuckers on this motherfucking planet on real shit. I wouldn't mind if this bitch have a Death Star beam. Hit the Death Star beam on them. Oh yeah, that second moon is another planet. Yep, we're being visited right now. They're talking to the government on how they're going to separate the people that eat us, allegedly.
So what you had was all of these things starting at the same time. You had the Phoenix program. Within a couple of years, you suddenly have serial killers in America that didn't exist before, not like this. Pretty large coincidence to swallow.
Yeah, pretty large coincidence. Yep. Let's talk about
covered
Manson.
up by psychological operation.
Manson, Bundy, Gacy, Dahmer. Unabomber.
They want you to think that it's Satan, that it's cults, that it's this, that it's that. Let's go to Operation Gladio. Now, Operation Gladio is like a UN, a NATO operation.
Woo! UN and NATO operation. Operation Gladio. Come on and look them up. Look this shit up. This should be half fuck the government podcast on some real shit, but like this is searching for truth. But half for fuck the government because we're talking about the government and exposing these motherfuckers.
And what they do is they target civilians with this same kind of shit.
Yeah, the UN and NATO is using this same type of technology to attack civilians. The Project Phoenix was attacking other countries and fucking up their people. But this Operation Gladio, this is attacking us.
9/11 type shit to get you to come to the man for safety. Here is a interview with a guy.
Come to the man for safety, and if we don't, we'll create some shit called the Patriot Act. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Ain't got no privacy. Oh, come on.
That talked about it a while back. You were supposed to attack civilians, women, children, innocent people outside the political arena for one simple reason, and that reason was to get the people to come to the man, to come to the state and ask for security. This is happening everywhere. This is a NATO operation. Operation Gladio was a NATO UN style operation. Whether that be Gladio operations being depicted as cult shit, whether that be serial killers being depicted as Satan worshippers and demonically possessed people, to voice of God weapons and the people that hear these voice of God weapons, and all of this being blamed on demons, the paranormal, to get people's minds to focus there. For those,
yeah, that voice of God weapon is diabolical. I hear voices in my head. They come to me. They understand. They talk to me. They talk to me. Yeah. They talk to me. They could get RKO'd in this motherfucker.
Those of you who don't understand, I have a lot of videos on my channel, but I'm trying to get you acquainted with everything going on in the late 60s and early 70s. Right then was in the middle of MK Ultra and mind control experiments where they were working on all this so that they could ultimately go wireless with everything they were doing, like psychic driving, repeating messages to people. And their intent was to
Exactly. And going back to this comment, yeah, you know NASA. NASA was the Nazi scientist. Yahtzee scientist. Yep. And yes, they are going to make people crazy. And if that second moon is not a planet, then we got two moons, and we already know what the moon do when it comes to the emotions and making the currents flow and all this shit. This is why I've been feeling all motherfucking drained. I've been like, oh, I don't feel like doing this. I'm talking about I gotta slap myself, motivate myself, get up. Everybody get up. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this new energy that's out there. You know, and it's good that I'm aware of what's going on, but it could be an alien planet, and they over here visiting world governments and talking shit. I've been feeling Dre too. Damn, yeah. Jordan said he felt the same shit too. You know what I'm saying? So if me, you, and Jordan feeling this shit, yeah, something is going on. We are definitely spiritually in tune with ourselves. If me, you, and Jordan felt this same shit, I've been fucking drained for the past 3 fucking days. This shit has been a motherfucker. I feel like I don't feel like doing shit. Like I don't feel like getting up. Like I don't feel like doing nothing. And then like on the like I think it was like day before yesterday when I was about to do a live, I was ready to do a live. I was so anticipated, and then right when I was getting ready to go live and press play, I just experienced just a draining feeling. Like I don't feel like doing none of this shit. Then I'm like, what the fuck? I'm about to go live. Let me motherfucking get my motivation, man. What the fuck going on with me? You know what I'm saying? Shit like I addressed it in the live. Hold on. My shit too home. God damn it. My phone keep falling. My bad, y'all. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it's not just me either. Word, for real. But like whatever's going on, like they know what they doing. They know what they doing. But like, I don't like the feeling. It's like they trying to lullaby niggas to sleep or some shit. It's more like like I don't like the diabolical shit behind it. It's like, damn, you take away my motivation, my energy, my motherfucking drive, my motherfucking determination, my motherfucking, taking away my wrath and my motherfucking rant that I was about to do. I was like, what? Man, let me motherfucking collect myself. What up, though? Shouts out to Miss Camarez. How y'all doing? It's the early morning. Searching for truth.
intent was to control people, to get someone to do something against their will or against their better judgment. Like
Get people to do something against their will or their better fucking judgment. That also. You just bombard you with shit, just make you snap. You in your good mood and just like motherfuckers coming out of nowhere. You just fuck this shit. Wham! You know?
this.
The goal remained the same. As this CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation.
They have found that the best way to do that is to convince these people that other people are going to hurt them or other people are doing something bad to them. And
convincing people that nothing ain't happening. Convince people that something happening to them when there's nothing happening to them. That is diabolical. Saying I had a dream a few weeks back. There was a big scaffold like Eiffel Tower with moon projector on top of it. Lots of people were working there. God damn. Everybody keep on going to these space stations. I won't be surprised if space has a shitload of debris look like a junkyard. I won't be surprised if there's a lot of junk just floating around this fucking rock.
Hypervigilant. They are in fear for their life, so they go after that person to save their life. And they use voice of God weapons on these people. You are essentially programming a person to believe that someone else is doing this to them. So they may gear up and go after them for revenge or to save their own life. And that just depends on the person and
now that is diabolical too. The voice of God weapon could tell you that your neighbor is trying to do something to you, or maybe your neighbor is gang stalking you with some shit, and you take it upon yourself to eliminate them, to protect yourself or to protect your family. Nigga, crazy shit. You're so fucking screwed. Game over, man. Game over. Or my favorite, it's the end of the world. We know it. Yeah, it's the end of the world. We know it. It's the end of the world. We know it. But I feel fine.
script. There are only about a dozen scripts. They're like Mad Libs. They just add something, change something. Very minor details are changed. It is the same script over and over and over.
Right.
Replace demon with God. Replace God with demon. Replace demons with aliens.
Yup.
Replace aliens with ghosts.
Yup.
Replace ghosts with angels.
Yup.
Replace angels and ghosts with your neighbor doing it to you. Replace the neighbor with a coworker. Replace the coworker with a family member. Keep going and going. Do you see what I mean? It's only the small details that.
Yeah. Yup. Yup. It's always that, dog, for real. But there are some family members and friends are just part of the program. They just fucked up just to be fucked up and make you be like, man, I'm gonna knock this motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? Because society has broken and they're part of the serial killer mythos now. They're part of the chaos agents that's going around terrorizing the hood. It's like a motherfucker don't want to get a job or don't want to do nothing for themselves or for the family. You know what I'm saying? You know, like even if a motherfucker asks them for help, they're like, man, fuck you. All right. Remember that. Shit. All right. I'll see you in the future, motherfucker. But yeah, you know, fucking you don't know, now you know. You don't know that you're really fucking, yeah. I'm trying to get the tinfoil hats ready and stock up. Hell yeah, nigga, the ports are closed. I'm ready for the revolution. They talk about niggas like niggas don't got shit. I know who I'm going after. I'm going after those immigrants that got that money. Y'all got money to fix up that house. They gave y'all a free house. I'm about to have a free fucking house. Y'all trying to motherfucking take people's apartment buildings. I'm about to take your apartment building. Sorry.
Details that change. It's Mad Libs. The scripts are all the same. If you realize this and you look at all these cases, they are always identical in almost every way. And they get them to do insane things, just like every shooter that you've seen in the past 20 years and longer. This has been going on for a long time. But now it's gone gangbusters, full on gangbusters. But how do you divert? How do you deflect? How do you project and hide the fact that all of this started at the exact same time? Serial killers, people hearing voices, mental illness evolving and morphing into what it is today. How do we deflect? We get you looking at all of this in a completely different way. We distract you with a hand puppet over here. So instead of people thinking, what's going on here, man? We got these serial killers popping up. Mental illness is morphing and changing. The symptoms are changing. We've got people that are hearing conversation, sometimes more than one person is talking to them, and voices started giving people commands. You give them two.
I hear voices in my head. They come to me. They understand. They talk to me. They talk to me. Yeah. They tell me things that I won't do. They tell me what I'm gonna do to you. It talks to me. What y'all know about that Randy Orton theme song, man? That Randy Orton theme song go in. But I like his old one. Hey, there's nothing you can say. Nothing can take what you done to me. Take what's mine. Who is this guy that's talking? Oh yeah, this guy. His channel was called "Look Out for Charlie." Yup, look out for Charlie. You gotta type it in like that. Yep, and look out for Charlie. He does audio forensics. He lets you know that they be voices in your head that tell you things you don't understand. It talks to you. For real, for real. Like it lets you know ain't shit supernatural in this bitch. It's the government. It's the government. The government. Yes, the government can.
You give them two options. You give the science people mental illness, and you give the rest of the population The Exorcist. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about both The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3. Mainly The Exorcist 3, but the original one laid the groundwork to scare the shit out of people and put this into the minds of people, and this was a psychological operation. First off, who wrote and directed The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3? It was William Peter Blatty. He's just some artist that makes movies, right? No, he is not. William Peter Blatty is a psyops guy. Flat out a psyops guy. I'm not making that up. When I tell you that the paranormal is promoted by military psyops, I am not playing around. Who and what was behind the Exorcist movies? William Peter Blatty, the writer and director of The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3, is the U.S. Air Force's psychological warfare policy chief.
Woo! He ain't talking shit. He got a fucking receipt. This is the article. It was behind the Exorcist movies. Peter Blatty. Yep. This the article. He just read the shit. There's a story of a man that turned a cold bitch into diamonds. Superpowers to make a bitch listen. Hurriclops. Optic blast.
The U.S. Air Force's psychological warfare policy chief, and he is the one planting these ideas. The ideas that scared the shit out of an entire nation back in the early 1970s. He didn't come right out and talk about.
Oh, damn. I've seen those. Now, my theory on that is this. Government has cloak technology. So it could be a nigga in your house. Second, it could be all the technology in your house being triangulated in a, let's just say, a signal to create let's just say, a hologram projection of a loved one or someone that was connected to that area. Because it's crazy how most motherfucking ghost hunters or ghost adventures, they always coming across ghosts from the 17th or 16th century. Why you can't find a ghost from 2007 playing Jesus? There's always some old school motherfucker with a robe on or like some shit from ancient times. Like it's never a motherfucker from last year. You know what I'm saying? You know, So we got to think about these things. You know, that's what I'm saying. Searching for truth. You know, we're searching for truth here. It doesn't like CGI when you see it, so that makes a lot of sense. Exactly. Or shit. Look, I used to watch a show called Future Weapons on the Military Channel. This is how I found out about the cloaking technology. China got it. The United States got it. I won't be surprised if Russia or like any other powerful country got it. But definitely, I saw that shit on Future Weapons. This is when I found out about DARPA, and then playing video games. They talked about DARPA. Ghost Recon is a video game where they're actually putting the technology that the military actually have inside the video games. And I used to play a game called SOCOM US Navy SEALs. To make that game, they got actual Navy SEALs to do the training and show us the drills on how they do their motherfucking tactical missions. I love that fucking game, you know. So yeah, it's deep, and cloaking technology is real. It's like it's for like warfare, but they're using it against us. So the war is against the people, and to get people brainwashed and to be motherfucking agents of chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is a real, true, cursed, parasitic prison planet, and everybody is nuts. If the spiral of time brings us closer to 300 years ago than last year, just a theory. It's the spiral of time. If time really exists, because you know time is something that we created. Time is infinite. We made it linear. But 300 years ago, what happened 300 years ago? I know it was still slavery going on. I know that. But wasn't that was the time when it was tearing down the Tartarian shit or some shit like that? I'm not sure. Because there was a lot of ancient structures here that they were just motherfucking tearing down and shit, trying to erase from history. I need to go back to the Tartarian shit. The mud floods. Ah, yeah. We're going somewhere.
Nation back in the early 1970s. He didn't come right out and talk about voice of God weapons and shit like that back then. It was just Captain Howdy.
You really don't want me to play, huh? No, I do. Captain Howdy said no. Captain who? Captain Howdy. Who's Captain Howdy? You know, I make the questions and he does the answers.
This psychological warfare mind rot laid the foundation for everything to be blamed on Satanism, possession, everything that you see today that is ramped up. And coincidentally, we have Coke and we have Pepsi. We have the paranormal for those who believe, and we have psychology and psychiatry for those who believe. And the similarities that they find between possession and a psychological breakdown or being schizophrenic are remarkably similar. Strange. There's no one in the middle. It's Coke and Pepsi. It's a perfect grift. It's the perfect cover for everything that they are doing. But in 1990, Blatty made The Exorcist 3 and was able to successfully fuse psychiatry and the church, the Catholic Church, the paranormal, and all of these ideas together into one concentrated Coke and Pepsi psyop to catch you with a net no matter what side of the fence you fall on. And he went in hard, and he basically told you exactly what was going on, because there are key details to The Exorcist 3 that people do not pay attention to. By 1990, Blatty didn't have to play around with ideas like, Captain Howdy and all this crap, and demons and Ouija boards. In The Exorcist 3, Blatty takes on voice of God weapons completely and puts voice of God weapons throughout the movie. So what is happening is there is a demon hopping from people to people. But if you look at it correctly, everyone in the movie is being controlled by one entity. And it takes place within the Catholic Church and within a mental ward. And this is what psychological operations people do. They prop up something like this, ghosts, demons, mixed with psychology, and then they give you little tidbits underneath. So, in the very beginning, the detective who was trying to track this demon that is hopping from person to person, this detective has a dream. And in this dream,
The only one that scared me was the first one. It's like the sequels to it was garbage, but they throw the truth in it. It's like the movie, the motherfucking Skull and Bones movie called Skulls. The first one is the best one, but part two and three was trash. But they threw the truth in it. Part three was with the girl where like they was battling, let the girls in the fraternity and shit. They like, man, if y'all motherfucker know what the fuck rituals they do, they ain't give a fuck. Let the girl in. They finally let the girl in. The girl found out the secrets. Y'all know what happens when you find out secrets and shit. You get chased through the whole fucking movie until you reach the climax. That's right. Fuck the church. Check out that new Robin Hood movie. That bitch flopped, but that bitch was the truth. That bitch was the fucking truth. It's like the one with Jamie Foxx in it. Jamie Foxx played Little John. And what I loved about that movie was it wasn't cliche. It wasn't like a cliche Robin Hood movie. It was like how Batman Origins was with Christian Bale, the first one. It was something like that. It was like the origin of Robin Hood. It talked about the Crusades, but most importantly, it talked about the Catholic Church and how corrupt it was, and why the sheriff of Nottingham was the way he was. It was because of the Catholic Church. They fucked his mind up. They abused him, and like turned him into a ruthless tyrant. And like we all know the story of motherfucking Robin Hood. Like he went to the Crusades, fought in the war, came back, they took his shit. He had the motherfucking like try to get his shit back. But what Robin Hood did was he got cool with the sheriff of Nottingham to get his motherfucking shit back. Like he started robbing niggas and giving it back to the poor and shit. So like once they found out it was him, it wasn't a cliche battle, nigga. They hung that nigga. Him and Jamie Foxx, and they caught that nigga. It was a 2-on-1, nigga. They hung his ass like damn. No cliche sword fight, no wise quips or none of that shit. It was like nigga straight up blood and gore. One thing that the people didn't like, it was like nigga, none of these niggas is dressed like the Robin Hood niggas. They went straight to motherfucking Party City and Walmart and bought their outfits for this movie, nigga. It was some real shit. It's like these niggas just go to the store. But it was a cool movie. It flopped like a motherfucker though, but I liked it. Let me say. Yeah, your money say the first. I don't want to see anymore. Hell yeah, yes, the first one was enough. The first one was enough. Rosemary Bear is a scary movie. I never seen it. Yo, my auntie, God rest her soul, she had that movie, and I think she said, "Don't watch this movie." And it was a white box with red letters. I'm gonna never forget that. And it looked as scary. It was like the way they say, like, "Don't watch this movie." I didn't watch that movie. But when I got older and I finally watched it, I'm like, this shit is scary. I'm like, I'm a grown ass man. I'm like, I'm actually fucking scared. I'm still scared of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm still scared of that. That motherfucking movie was the shit. And and they kept on doing sequels and prequels and remakes. The To me, the best remake is the one in like 2003 with Jessica Biel. I liked it that. But everything else after that, I was like, what the fuck is this? Man, like I think the last one I saw, it was like in the mid 2010s or some shit, where the girl was like the cousin of Leatherface. Like it was like the climax of the movie. Leatherface was hurt, and it was like some other guy that was there trying to fight both of them. She was like, "Here you go, cuz." Threw the chainsaw to Leatherface. Leatherface did his do. I was like, get this. She was like, "Here you go, cuz." I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm done with the Chainsaw Massacre.
and in this dream, right away, we get our first hit. Herbert Mullen heard the voice of God. John Linley Frazier heard the voice of God.
Yep.
Since then, Countless people have heard the voice of God. There are hundreds of videos that I have talking about this. Let's check out this dream.
Yeah, they made the Matrix.
Can you hear us? We are attempting to communicate. Come in, please.
The living are dead.
Now, why would the psychological operations chief put that little tidbit into a movie, right? But it gets way heavier than this. The detective is friends with a priest. I'm not going to go through the whole movie, but the priest is murdered by somebody in the mental ward because the demon keeps hopping from person to person. This old woman allegedly came in and killed this priest.
I find that weird. They both changed it, and I respect it so they can go woman's prison when the time comes. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. But what what really fucks me up about them? Because I'm a big fan of the Matrix, and I used to watch their interviews. I listened to their director's commentary. I bought the fucking video games. What fucks me up is I understand one brother can make a transition. I understand one brother feeling some type of way, but both, that's weird. That is weird. I understand one, and the other one be straight and be like, yes, I respect my brother's decision or whatever. I understand that because I seen that rarely, but I never seen both. So both of y'all came out the womb, all man, talking normal, deep voice and everything, and then suddenly y'all both changed. Nah, and it makes me go down a rabbit hole of both of them motherfuckers being replaced. I'm like, I don't think the Wachowski brothers are alive. I don't even think those are Wachowskis. Those motherfuckers are someone else. That's my theory. That's the rabbit hole I'm going down. You feel me? I don't know if anybody else motherfucker went down that rabbit hole, but I know I'm down there alone right now. But this is all about Operation Delirium, Edgewood Arsenal experiments. Woo! Nice. That sounds like some homework.
And killed this priest somehow, right? And this doctor points out who it is, and they have a little conversation. Let's check it out.
There's your girl over there.
My name is William Kinderman.
Yes. What about my radio?
Pardon me?
I said my radio. Aren't you going to fix it?
She needs her radio fixed. It's very imperative that you listen to details in this movie. There are many, but listen here.
I'm the radio repairman, Mrs. Clay.
Well, fix it.
Oh, what's wrong with it?
Dead people talking.
So the woman, the Manchurian candidate, is hearing voices through the radio.
It's right here.
Here is the biggest clue. While everybody's distracted with demons and insane asylums and everything else.
Do you see it?
Yes, I see it.
I just knew you weren't really a radio repairman. That's a telephone I'm holding. It's all right. A lot of people wouldn't know the difference either.
A lot of people wouldn't know the difference either. A lot of people wouldn't know the difference between a radio and a telephone. Do you understand what he's saying there? These people are all listening to the radio. They're hearing voices. A lot of people wouldn't know the difference between a radio and a telephone.
A lot of people wouldn't know the difference either.
A lot of people wouldn't know the difference between a radio and a telephone. These are tiny tidbits that no one is picking up. It's all throughout the movie, but people don't pay attention because they're too distracted by the demons, the ghosts, and the insane asylum, the theatrics.
You're the radio man.
Yeah, that's right.
That radio isn't mine.
It's a constant theme.
Mine is newer.
It's back in the details. It's a nugget of information that you need to look for. Right after the radio incident and talking to the old woman, the detective comes out and he realizes that the quote-unquote demon, the entity, the influencing entity, is hopping from person to person in the insane asylum. Now watch what happens here.
Friends, old friends, traveling man, one who moves. Old friends, one who moves, one who moves, one who.
So they're all being controlled by the same entity, just like.
Now we go back to the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington dealing with Azazel, and I'm thinking about that scene. Time is on my side. It was going from person to person and shit. And like this, I went to the black guy. I was like, "Yo, that what was you singing?" Like, nigga, I wasn't singing shit. Nigga being targeted. I guess when you stumble across some truth, they was using it to manipulate the situation. And it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Because at the end, the motherfucker didn't die. The motherfucker lived, and which means that the government can still do this technology shit. I just got done killing a whole bunch of people, got motherfuckers on a wild goose chase on a murder investigation. And it's the government hitting niggas with the frequency weapon. It's crazy. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Oh, man. Now let's replace demons and ghosts, angels, and God with government. Project Gladio. And they working on Project Bluebeam. They putting that hologram in the sky. Motherfuckers already got brainwashed by the motherfucking 9/11. Every niggas is still saying a plane hit those buildings. When the footage came out showing the buildings just looking all cool and then explosion happened. I saw no plane. I saw witnesses live footage from the ground come up, disappeared after putting out the footage. But the only one that could get away with putting out the footage is Michael Moore. But like all the ones that was supposed to have authentic footage ends up disappeared or deleted. I don't like this.
Same entity, just like Voice of God weapons. It's actually quite brilliant. Now watch this.
I can't say it came with you.
And there's another woman in the corner talking to a radio.
I can't say it came with you. Yeah.
Now,
I'm gonna tell you something. I did this back in the day. Some of us probably did this, but it's rare. Have you ever had an old radio and you changing the station, and on some of those static stations, you hear voices like white noise. You hear the voice through the white noise. You go back, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck did I just hear? And you go back, you just hear the static again, like, dang, I'm tripping. That happened to me all the time. But I never sat down and listened to white noise fully on my own. But like whenever I used to change the station, I used to hear voices through the white noise. And when I go back, I don't hear the other motherfuckers saying shit I heard. But it'd be crazy. Now y'all, here go the adjustment bureau. I'm not picking up. I'm glad they called this phone instead of the phone I got my live on. That would have fucked my live up. They use the voice of God weapons on the folks in Guantanamo. A prisoner said, Allah Akbar! Boom. Visited cell and told him to confess. What? The BBC reported 7 building collapses 20 minutes before it happened. Hashtag fuck the government and fuck the BBC. Y'all ruined Doctor Who. Y'all turned Doctor Who into a female and a black fruitcake. How how dare you? And y'all motherfuckers killed James Bond. And y'all brought Jean-Luc Picard back to do his own fucking series, and y'all ruined the goddamn show. How dare you kill James Bond in front of me? Doctor Who died with David Tennant. But if I was an old school nigga, I'd be like, Doctor Who died with Tom Baker, motherfucker. Yeah, they're using the voice of God. Let me see, get back to this. My phone timed out on me. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Hold up. I like call the mid. I like call the midwife on BBC. Yo, BBC. I'm not gonna lie. I I fucked with it for Doctor Who. I fucked with it for Star Trek, and I think Torchwood for a couple seasons. Sherlock was alright, and I don't know what it is about those female British accents. I just love it. It just, god damn, like oh man, it's just something about that accent. You know, something about it. I like Russian accents too, but but when it comes to the American woman that is, let's just say, in tune with herself on the spiritual level, I love them because the vibration and energy and love radiating from their voice, it just, you know, like we don't got an accent. It's like we talk with a frequency. It's either a frequency of love, peace, and kindness, or a piece of aggression. Talk of aggression or whatever. BBC RKK. I like the accent too. So there's just something about it. Now the English, well, all right, those niggas in the English, it's like maybe it's a level of sophistication that they have with their voice is why I like it. I'm not really sure. It's just like it's just something like it made me feel like, I feel like superior when I speak that language or some shit. And it may sound bad, but I think that's how they feel. Like we have the superior language. Because if I feel like that, they have to feel like that.
Now, the entity has turned this woman into a Manchurian candidate, and she kills a nurse, steals the uniform, and breaks out in order to go on her mission. This is a Manchurian candidate.
Bill, what kind of a nurse is this?
So this entity is hopping from person to person. It's the same entity. It's just amazing that in between all.
And it's crazy because the level of this diabolical program turning you into a fucking agent is, it doesn't only does something to the brain to make you do this atrocious activity, but it gives you a level of I don't give a fuck, and somehow you got super fucking strength. It's like this how I know that like we got the power to do some Agent 47 shit and just get away unnoticed, untouched, just like yo. We just gotta tap into that motherfucking brain power. I do have the greatest person alive syndrome.
All of this, these props of psychiatry and the props of demons and possession and the supernatural, he put these little tidbits in there
I just knew you weren't really a radio repairman. It's all right. A lot of people wouldn't know the difference either.
There's a reason why that's there. Mainly, all people are seeing are ghosts and demons in the Catholic Church and a bunch of disturbing imagery. And they're not looking at the little nuggets in there. Brought to you by the U.S. Air Force's Psychological Warfare Policy Chief. If you're not getting this, there's something wrong with you.
And another thing, there's a movie called Split. That motherfucker, when his personalities turn to the beast, mind you, this motherfucker is not superhuman. This motherfucker unlocked power in his brain. You feel me? Each personality has its own life and set of power. The beast is phenomenally powerful. Strength, endurance, speed, ferociousness. This is all unlocked within us. So I'm thinking to myself, if the voice of God weapon can manipulate a motherfucker to turn to the beast, then maybe, just maybe, I could tweak the frequency and turn everybody into angels to heal people instead of kill people. Because this technology is diabolical. If you can turn a motherfucker to a Manchurian candidate, I can turn you into a Manchurian angel. We could create heaven on earth. Might have to take a little bit of manipulation. But I'm doing it for the greater good. Like if I clone myself and go start destroying shit, the program is strong.
And this is just one example out of hundreds, out of thousands of psychological warfare units in Hollywood using this type of propaganda to get people to blame shooters and crazies and serial killers and all this on demons, to get you thinking about, Satan and cults and demons and ghosts and supernatural and blah, 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 blah. When a light bulb blows up in your house, it is not technological. It's not something pulsing on the grid. It's ghoulies and ghosts. This is how they keep people thinking this way. And it's a fact that it's being put out by psychological operations. So, the public doesn't notice the radio talk, the little details that look really big when you isolate them. And otherwise, it's Catholic Church, demons, and an insane asylum. But let's go beyond that now. Let's get past the insane imagery that they look right past. The Joel Peter Whitkin psyop art, disgusting artist. Let's go beyond that. And let me show you something that puts this all together and puts it in a damn blender. I was talking about the Phoenix program in the beginning, when all the Gladio operations done by NATO. Who was obsessed with The Exorcist 3? 2 to 3 times a week. A week. They watched it over and over. They were obsessed with it. Who was that? It was Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, there's something about the Dahmer case that you need to understand, and that is most of what you've been told in the past, through Netflix, through the news, through the 90s, through the 2000s, most of it is bullshit. Dahmer is not who you were told he was. Dahmer was surrounded by very, very strange people in the military and even before the military. This does not happen to ordinary people. When he was in high school, his class went on a trip to Washington, D.C. He hopped on a payphone and made a call and told his friends that he had secured them a private tour of the White House. Now, we were talking about Gladio. We were talking about the Phoenix program, picking out nut jobs.
He got into a phone at one time and then made a call, told his friends that he was going to arrange a private tour of the vice president's office for them. And, they were naturally skeptical, thought he was full of shit. But he made the call, and sure enough, he got him in not only just to a private visit to the vice president's office, but also to a private visit to the office of a very high-level columnist, Washington columnist at that time, whose name I can't remember. It's quite obvious that your normal average Midwestern kid going back to Washington, D.C. on a visit cannot make a quick phone call and secure a private tour of the vice president's office. That doesn't happen in the real world.
That doesn't happen in the real fucking world. Woo! Boom! Drop a bomb. Who the fuck is Jeffrey Dahmer? This is when I read the book called The Biggest Secret by David Icke. Everybody call him a nut job and an agent, but that book told it all. I'm expecting to read a book about some reptilians, but this nigga David Icke started off about the origin of Babylon, and then he worked his way up to what was going on in the modern day at the time. The book came out in 2000, but he been doing the research maybe like 10 years, maybe like 5 to 10 years before he dropped the book. But it talked about Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, and all these other motherfuckers being agents. But it's crazy that they've been doing this shit for so fucking long.
Obviously has some kind of
the serial killer mythos. They creating the boogeyman. They creating the boogeyman.
family connections.
And Dave McGowan is absolutely correct there. You don't just call and get a private tour of the White House unless your family is somehow connected. But
I love that book because the introduction is like, yo, there's so many words. If you got a belief system, if you got faith in God or this government, don't read this book. Because I'm about to shatter your paradigm, bitch.
Dahmer was obsessed with The Exorcist 3. He thought it was written about him. He identified with it. He saw this character that was driven by this inner evil force, and he felt that he was being driven by this inner evil force. How weird is it that you have this movie that is written by the chief of psychological warfare, and one of these ex-military fucking psychos happens to be obsessed with that movie? And it goes so far beyond this because
he's right about him, because there's more than one different type of alien here. And it's like, shit, it's carved on pyramids. Can't nobody call motherfucking crazy if the shit is carved on pyramids and you're finding stone tablets with this shit on it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah, you know. But by the time it got to the reptilian part of the book, I was so intrigued by the other shit I read before it got to that point, because like before they really started talking about reptilians, like there's a chapter in the book called Satan's Children. I'm like, oh, this chapter is destroying me right now. Like, oh, this is what they doing? What the fuck? Well, the planet doesn't seem human. That's for sure. Hell yeah. My homeboy say it all the time. It's like, man, whoever running this bitch is not fucking human. and plus the common sense. If we're being killed through the food, through the water, through the air, through disease, it sounds like terraforming. You know what I'm saying? Fucking up the planet so they can live on it. You know, and everybody is feeling the effect. All the people, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you ain't down with the bloodline, it's a wrap. You got to be on some Solo Sokoa shit. Acknowledge me.
obsessed with that movie. And it goes so far beyond this because even the guy that bunked with him in Germany, who was attacked and drugged and raped and tortured and lived to tell about it, he tells a completely different story of Jeffrey Dahmer. Billy Capshaw was in Germany with Dahmer. They were in the same room together. They were bunked. And that's how they were connected. He was basically forced and basically imprisoned with Jeffrey Dahmer, and they kind of kept him with him so that he couldn't get away, almost like Capshaw was a test subject for Dahmer.
Did you ever see Dahmer meeting with anyone, privately meeting with anyone, or?
Well, there were some guys with suits that came to the room, but I don't really know who they are. I'm thinking they were American CID. The military knew that there was a problem even when I got there. No one wanted to room with Jeff, and I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I really was afraid to say anything. I mean, they talked to him. I went outside.
No, that sounds more like he was a test subject. They were allowing to live like that. And you can see this with CIs, confidential informants, people like that are kind of in the same ballpark. They'll get arrested for things, but they never get convicted for it. Charges are always dropped. They're quietly let go. Dahmer always slipped through the cracks, It's like they were waiting to unleash him on the population.
You know, the room and stuff like that, and then they left. I mean, that was pretty much it. They had suits on. I don't know what they were talking about.
This is a photo that was allegedly sent to Billy Capshaw by Dahmer. And it's a guy that he was with, and they're wearing Israeli army fatigues. Dahmer mailed the photo to him at his family home.
Ooh, y'all gotta see this. Fuck that. Nigga, this a receipt. This a fucking receipt. Shit. I did it for Dahmer. For Dahmer. Why did you do it, Dahmer? I did it for Dahmer. For Dahmer. What? Military motherfucker. Got him.
Arkansas. And Billy thinks that Dahmer also shot it. It's very strange that they are wearing Israeli army fatigues because they were allegedly involved with an operation called Operation Moses. So in 2010, a Jerusalem Post story review, Operation Moses was a clandestine airlift, a three-way collaboration between the Mossad, the CIA, and the Sudanese state security to smuggle about 8,000 Ethiopian Jews from Sudanese refugee camps who had arrived to escape a famine. Dahmer was involved with this. Now, put this all together. This kid, as a kid, gets a private tour of the White House. He's in Germany doing some type of military intelligence with these people. Here's where it gets really weird. When Dahmer was finally arrested in Milwaukee in 1991, Billy was also in jail because he was really messed up. He was really messed up after the Dahmer experience. Military people in civilian clothes arrived at the jail and told him that if the media ever asked him about Dahmer, don't mention Israel. Dahmer has a much different and richer history than we are aware of. Billy told author Jay Norris about his visit to his room from two guys in suits with non-military haircuts who demonstrated survival techniques in extreme conditions. He assumes they were CIA or something like that, and Dahmer had acted like he was friends with them.
All right. Y'all want to find this info? Y'all will have to read this book, The Dirty Secret of Dahmer. Dirty Secret of Dahmer. What's his name? I don't know why it's all blurry on this shit. But his name is Arthur J. Harris that wrote the book. Yup. Damn, how many operations? Damn, how many operations are we dealing with? This is crazy. I know. Okay, I'm hearing a common theme. Yep.
Had a prior relationship with them. That's very, very interesting. These are the autopsies, the autopsy reports of Dahmer's victims.
What could he discern from there? What could he tell me that hasn't been reported? Again, Billy was a paramedic as well. He saw that Jeff apparently kept his victims alive.
Russell, he kept them alive. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed what he did to me. He kept them alive with a thoracostomy tube, a breathing tube. He severed the spine in certain areas, many of his victims, so they couldn't get away or couldn't move or couldn't whatever. One of them had tracheostomy. You know, it's all crazy. And there's another thing called a cricothyrotomy. And he knew that stuff better than anybody, as well as a physician, probably. I got tied to a bunk, given drugs, all that kind of crazy stuff. Somebody, and I think you know who I'm talking about, had trained this guy.
Somebody had trained this guy.
Somebody, and I think you know who I'm talking about, had trained this guy. He was not a regular guy, a regular 18, 19-year-old.
Did you hear that?
He was not. Okay. He had many years of training. For his age, I don't see how he had that much knowledge.
For his age, I don't see how he had that much knowledge. This is where it all comes back together. These movies, these psychological operations go out, and the public is totally influenced by it. Satanism, ghosts, paranormal, blah, 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 blah. Even aliens and Bigfoot and all the bullshit that goes along with that. Jeffrey Dahmer, who was military, already started out kooked, right? And then gets totally bent by his military handlers, if you will, right? He even becomes obsessed with The Exorcist 3. Even he has been psyoped during the psyop with the evil force that he believed was pushing him along, when he just looks like a Phoenix Gladio project that was set loose on the gay population. So you have these propaganda movies that are covering for technology and conditioning. They are covering for all this with the paranormal, the supernatural. But not only does it seep into Jeffrey Dahmer's life as well as the American psyche, what they are covering with this supernatural bullshit is the very thing that killed Jeffrey Dahmer. Netflix tries to make it like this racial justice thing, and it had nothing to do with that. There's a guy named Christopher Scarver. He's the dude that killed Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, what happened to Christopher Scarver? Christopher Scarver was attacked with voice of God weapons and convinced to kill Jeffrey Dahmer, telling him that he was the chosen one. Yeah, he was chosen. He was chosen to hear the voice. Do you see the metaphors and how deceptive that can be to somebody?
When Scarver was asked why he did what he did, he claimed that he was the chosen one and that he had to do it. Scarver also claimed that the correctional officers knew that he didn't like Jeffrey and that they intentionally had them work together so that he could kill Dahmer.
Now that's what the voices probably told him. We're all working together to get this done, right? That's what they do. They make these people feel like they are part of something that's bigger. It's going on around them. And they'll see little signs or whatever when they're hypervigilant that affirms this in their head. So Scarver gets attacked with voice of God weapons. Dahmer seemed to also be a project. And the Manchurian Candidate goes and kills Dahmer. And it's so similar to The Exorcist 3, which Jeffrey Dahmer was obsessed with, that it's almost unbelievable. But nobody is putting this together. They're not seeing the small pieces, the nuggets, the facts, because it's propped up.
Are they doing this to politicians? It looked like they hit that nigga Mitch McConnell with the frequency weapon. One time it looked like a bitch injected a nigga hand with something, then that nigga just I think Mitch McConnell got hit.
Behind demons and Satanism and skull tables and all the bullshit and theatrics. Both the original Exorcist and The Exorcist 3 were written by the U.S. Air Force's psychological warfare policy chief. For Christ's sake, I don't care if it's YouTube videos that are being promoted, if it's Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Paranormal State, any one of these movies out there promoting this crap. All these new movies that are incorporating this crap. Evil, the show, they are psychological operations, every single one of them, covering up for technology and conditioning that is at work and has been at work for decades. And that's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
That's it for now. Look out for Charlie. That's the channel. I'm glad I caught this live. Hell yeah. Real shit. I'm glad I did it. you know. And final thoughts on this. Keep an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Keep an open mind and do your research on Project Phoenix, Operation Gladio. Read the book, The Dirty Secrets of Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, Dirtiest Secrets. Yep. And watch The Exorcist 3, Exorcist 1. and look up Project Bluebeam again and connect what he's saying to that, because shit, like once the holograms get in the sky and they use the voice of God weapon to make motherfuckers think they talking to God, a lot of Christians is gonna be brainwashed, and they're gonna be so fucking pissed at us because we're gonna be like, nigga, that's a hologram in the sky. They're gonna be mad, and it's gonna be violent too. I'm not gonna lie and say it's not gonna be violent. This is why I say they're going to be target practice, because there are such thing as radical Christians. There are going to be some Christians that are going to be like, that's God up there, and I died to defend it. Yep, going back to the Crusades and all these other motherfuckers that fought in God's name and killed motherfuckers. You're no different from them, and they don't care. So this is why I say take them out before they take you out. Real shit. Nigga, I'm going on. It's garbage day. Blam. I would do just what that nigga did, just walking up the street, nigga with the Cosby sweater on, talking about this garbage day and this blasting. I forgot the name of that movie, man. That shit was hilarious. Oh man, sound like childhood's in. It's garbage day. That's the name of the movie, Childhood's in. And that shit was hilarious. But yeah, man, this is the channel called Look Out for Charlie. Make sure y'all subscribe. He got great content. He does audio forensics. So, like, if y'all into audio, if y'all down and listen to him, like, like open up a file and y'all listen to some audio frequency sounds. If y'all down to listen to that, then this is a channel for you. I binged this channel for like 2 days before. Like for a couple days after, nigga, I was hearing nothing but static sounds. And I'm like, man, shit. Like it's like looking up like numerology and gematria. Like when you're done looking at it, you close your eyes, you see a shitload of numbers. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit. And sometimes you get a headache. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Sean. You're gonna have to catch the playback. We was talking about the voice of God weapon and the serial killer mythos and what's going on with the supernatural. It's all a government psyop. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's the whole gist of the whole shit. The supernatural, ghosts, demons, all that paranormal shit is all the government. The government, cause the government can. So, shouts out to everybody coming through. Shouts out to Shine. You about to catch the playback, replay game. I sell all the ain't sure I'm ready for it. Don't worry. Once you scroll through the videos, whatever resonate with you is what you click on. Watch. That's how I started off, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just binge this whole shit. So like I binged this work while I was playing the video game and shit. Like, yep. Yep. Oh yeah, and Sean, make sure you subscribe to Look Out for Charlie. Yep. Look Out for Charlie. Yeah, that's the name of the channel that we was just reviewing. I'm English, Mike. Shouts out to No. Shouts out to Water Style. Who else came through? I think it was just No, Water Style. Yep. Oh, yep, and Bronze came through. Shouts out to Bronze. Yeah. Yep. This is Searching for Truth, Part 7. You know how we do. We end it like mic check. I walk around the streets with my black tech nine on the waistline. Look at the hype shit. I never claim to be the best type of rapper, but have to show the motherfuckers what I'm after. I'm after the gold, and after that the platinum. Beef after that, Hurricane G packs the gas and bam.